Every single day, millions of Malaysians head out to work. But what's really standing between them and a potentially life-altering accident? Well, it's not just one simple rule. It's actually a whole complex web of protection. So let's dive in and unravel Malaysia's workplace safety net.
Just think about it for a second. Can a single, solitary law really cover every single risk out there? I mean, a chemical spill in a lab, an electrical fire in an office, an injury on a construction site, it seems impossible, right? The answer is, well, yeah. While one law can give you a solid foundation, it's really the layers of very specific regulations that make all the difference. And that's where Malaysia's system really starts to shine.
A single general rule, no matter how perfectly it's written, just can't account for every unique danger in every single industry. It's a one-size-fits-all approach that just doesn't work. That's exactly why we need to go beyond that and explore the specific laws that are tailor-made to handle unique, high-stakes hazards.
Okay, so here's the bedrock of our safety net, the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1994, which you probably know as OSHA. This is what sets up the fundamental duty for all employers to provide a safe working environment. It's the starting point. But what about those really specific threats that a general law just can't fully cover? Well, for those, we need to add more layers of protection.
Right, let's start with the things that can go boom, or, worse. We're talking about substances that are so hazardous, they need their own dedicated set of rules just to keep everyone safe. This is our first specialized layer. This really lays it out perfectly, this kind of problem and solution approach of Malaysia's safety net. You see a specific hazard on one side, and right next to it, you see the specific law designed to control it. For the huge risks that come with petroleum, there's a dedicated act. For radioactive materials or pesticides, targeted laws. Every danger gets its own custom-built shield. Let's just drill down on one of these for a sec. The Atomic Energy Licensing Act? That is not a friendly suggestion. It means that anyone who wants to work with radioactive materials has to go through a really rigorous licensing process. They have to prove they've got the knowledge, the right equipment, and the proper procedures to handle these materials safely, from the moment they get them to the moment they're safely disposed of. And you know what? The logic behind so many of these laws is actually pretty simple, but it is so powerful. It's this clear, proactive, three-step process. First, you have to get a license to even operate. Second, you have to follow the super strict rules that come with it. And third, if you don't, you are going to face serious consequences. Simple as that.
So we've covered the dangers that come in a bottle or a barrel. But what about the dangers that are literally built into the workplace itself, or the impact that our work has on the world all around us? Let's move on to that next layer.
Here we can see two totally different approaches for two very different but very common dangers. When it comes to fire, the focus is on the building's safety, requiring that premises have a valid fire certificate. But for electricity, the focus shifts to the person doing the work, demanding that only licensed, competent contractors are allowed to handle installations. Two problems, two very different, tailored solutions. Now, what happens to all the hazardous stuff that's left over from work? Think of it this way. You can't just toss old batteries into the regular trash can, right? Well, it's the same principle, just on a much bigger scale. The Environmental Quality Act of 1974 defines something called scheduled waste. These are materials that absolutely must be handled safely to make sure they don't harm workers, the community, or the environment. And sometimes the law is just incredibly direct. This single line from the Environmental Quality Act has massive implications. It's a clear, non-negotiable rule that protects Malaysia's waters, and it really shows how workplace safety and environmental protection are often just two sides of the very same coin.
Okay, so we've got all these layers of prevention in place. But what happens when, despite everyone's best efforts, an accident does happen? That's where the final layer of our safety net comes into play.
This is the Workmen's Compensation Act of 1952. This law is so important because it recognizes that even with the best precautions in the world, accidents can still happen. And when they do, it is absolutely crucial to have a system in place to support the workers who get injured. This law establishes a vital principle called employer liability. What that means is it's the employer's legal responsibility, their duty, to compensate employees who get hurt on the job. It's not a choice, it's not optional, it is a fundamental duty. And the process it lays out is direct and totally worker-focused. An injury happens, the employer is required to cover the medical care, and then compensation gets provided to the worker or their family. It's a clear path to support right when it's needed the most. So,
We've looked at all these different pieces of Malaysia's workplace safety framework. Now let's kind of pull back, put them all together, and see the complete picture of this pretty incredible protective system.
When you see all of these laws listed together like this, it becomes crystal clear, doesn't it? It is not just one rule. It is a dynamic, multi-layered system that starts with a broad foundation, adds all these specific shields for specific dangers, and then provides a final layer of support. It's a whole system designed to protect people from a huge range of risks.
So the next time you're at work, just take a look around. What are the specific dangers in your environment? And which of these very specific laws are in place to protect you? Because at the end of the day, true safety isn't just about knowing one general rule. It's about understanding the entire system that's been designed to keep you safe.